Hello, Seeker and Sage
Hi.
members. We are so glad that you're here with us because we are talking today. We're talking about what, Michelle?
We're talking about toxins and those nasty little things that are lurking behind the scenes that really affect our health. So as part of like an Ayurvedic lifestyle, we're really trying to get back to our nature and the balance. And I'm super excited to talk about this because there are so many things, toxins, meaning harmful substances like pollutants, chemicals, heavy metals, that seep into our being and our systems and really affect how we live our lives.
And what she said was, dirty girls getting clean. So we have some great ideas, and all the way across the board, because typically when we think about getting clean and we think about toxins, we think about diet. We think about, what am I not going to be able to eat? And, this kind of, I'm going to do a juice cleanse, and I'm not living on juice kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we have those kind of preconceived conceptions that really box us in. So, I don't know. I think it's going to be across the board today. So I invite you to sit back and really open up your mind and your heart and just consider the whole picture.
Yes.
And it's going to be a lot of information. Maybe jot down one or two ideas if they seem really practical and easy for you to infuse into your everyday life. And then you can see where you go. And you can watch the replay and add more later.
Yeah. That's a great idea to write some things down. Also, you might want to have your phone handy because we're going to talk about some really helpful apps that are amazing, and they've gotten a lot better over the years. So that's exciting as well. There's a ton of resources. So, like you said, there's a lot of information. But what is, I think, the main focus or my intention is for you to be curious about all of the different ways that we can, maintain our health and vitality, that we need to be our own health advocates. We're empowered, and there's so much information to help us along the way. One caveat is I don't want you to be overwhelmed, because in prepping for this conversation, I got a little overwhelmed. Because there are so many toxic substances in our life, and it's not, like Tracy said, it's not just limited to diet. So instead of getting overwhelmed and frozen, just know that even the tiny little changes in your lifestyle can make a big difference.
And it is lifestyle.
Yes.
So it's just like the yoga practice. You don't do crow pose the first time you're on your mat. It can even take years to little by little chip away some of the tension, bring back in some of your natural strength and flexibility, put the piece together on how it works. So I love the app idea because that's something you can have readily available. And if you pick up one or two ideas today, start using the app, you'll get 3 or 4 more ideas.
Yeah.
And it's more like just committing to the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Staying in conversation for yourself.
And just being aware.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first step to anything. So, just being conscious of it and trying to do what's best for you and your family. That's a good
some
start.
of these are definitely family friendly.
Yeah.
Like everybody in the household will benefit from it without even knowing it.
Yes.
Sneaky.
Yes, super sneaky. And the one thing I was struggling with too is feeling a little bad about, because I was really gung-ho a few years ago after I was experiencing a lot of symptoms and just not feeling very well, and I went to a functional medicine doctor and ran a bunch of labs and found heavy metals in, like, a lot, a high percentage of heavy metals. She's like, have you ever worked in industry or anything? And I'm like, no, I have a desk job. So it's really interesting, that freaked me out a little bit. And so then I started to really study and research and start phasing out, certain things in my life, and then going back and getting labs redone and seeing the levels go down and feeling a lot better.
Right.
So some of the symptoms are super common, from toxic overload that we hear about and we experience all the time, like chronic digestive issues, headaches, migraines. One that I just learned about is stronger menopausal symptoms.
Wow.
It can, exacerbate those.
And I think the adrenal conversation and the tiredness, the run down feeling. And I think too, for me, my emotional state says a lot about my physical health. So I know when I'm feeling grumpy that I'm out of balance and like that toxin load is a little bit high, and I need to look at my inflammatory conversation and start making those adjustments. So if you happen to feel like kind of bitchy, and don't punish yourself, like look to see like what's underneath that, what might be causing that, because a little bit of change and adjustment can make a really big difference.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. And it's all of these conversations are really cool because it is back to the lifestyle, and you're going to learn different levers to kind of push and pull to make you feel better when you're not feeling so hot.
Great.
So yeah. So
let's do it.
Super
let's
exciting. So shocking statistic.
Oh,
are you ready?
Okay.
In the morning, the average woman in America uses 12 toxic products, equaling like 170 chemicals in the bathroom before just getting ready. Just that exposure. And we've got some examples here, but that's like an average data point.
So just like putting your face creams on and your makeup on and your hair,
toothpaste, soaps, hairspray, perfume. It's just shocking. So the point being is that it's very easy to have toxic chemicals in your life and not even know it.
And I know from my interactions with Trina Felber, who's a local person, she's Primal Life Organics, she practices at Yoga Bliss. I've known her for a lot of years. She wrote a book, she's a nurse, she wrote a book called Beauty's Dirty Little Secret.
Ooh.
Yeah. And the thing that she emphasized to me was that when we put those things on our skin, they get absorbed into our bloodstream without having the benefit of going through our digestive system for any kind of filtration or detox. So like our natural digestive system has a way of pulling out the things that aren't necessary, but our face just absorbs it right into the bloodstream. So it's really kind of concern. Like makeup would be a really good place to start.
We'll talk about that.
Detox.
And lotions too, because our skin is the biggest part of our body. So we'll talk about we'll go through the senses again, the 5 senses, because that is how external things get into our internal environment. So we'll talk about that.
Good.
But crazy that there's that many chemicals before you even leave the bathroom.
And before you even look at what you eat.
Well, and then you're eating, you're cleaning, you might work in a place where there's, toxins, there's pollution. So, I'm not a medical doctor, so this conversation is going to be really high level. But again, it's just to pique your curiosity and help you feel, even more empowered about your well-being. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So in talking about the categories, so we talked about like personal care products, right?
Okay.
And we talked about food, but there's also some other categories that I wanted to mention. Okay. So there's cleaning products.
Okay.
Children, there's that's a whole segment in itself because their bodies are so little that any kind of toxic residue or anything that gets into their system affects them way more than it would us.
Gotcha.
So, things like flame retardants, the vinyl coverings on their crib, or mattresses, toys, plastic toys. So all of these things emit gases and get into their little system. So that's a whole nother category to consider. Also home and garden. So this is crazy because dust is like a little, it's a huge carrier of toxins. So, dust, pesticides in your garden and your soil,
right.
The fabrics and textiles in your home, rugs
that,
paint, like all of the, so that's a whole category.
And I know in my
itself.
house, I had that front load washer and dryer, and the tubing and everything had so much mold in it. Like that was like a hidden toxin. So even to like look at your environment with a critical eye, that was there, but I was just busy doing my laundry.
Well, again, we don't even think about it. And that's why I was saying at the beginning, like they're lurking, they're everywhere. So again, not to get overwhelmed by it, but just know that, now we have the information we need to make, different choices, basically. Right. Personal care we talked about, food and drink we talked about, and we'll talk about this in more detail. Another one that I think is super fascinating is clothing. Because fabrics there's things done to clothing that make it stiffer, or there's different processes used to create clothes, and so and there's chemicals in that. Or think about starch. I remember my mom in the 70s starching my dad's shirt, his uniform. So and that gets into your airways and can affect you. Dry cleaning. And then the other thing as part of it is washing our clothes actually causes chemicals in the water, because you're washing it, and so it affects our water supply as well. Wow. So it's really, really interesting. And then you think about detergents. Yes. And dryer sheets and all of that. Yeah. So, that's a whole nother category. Yeah. So it's prevalent.
It's a lot. It's a load. I'm like, oh, cut the tape.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. So we'll talk about our senses. What are our 5 senses?
Sight, sound, smell.
Yes.
Taste,
we're getting so good.
Touch.
Yes.
SSSTT.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's what she taught me last time I remembered.
Yeah. So, so it, in thinking about our senses, that's the gateway, right, from our external environment getting into our internal environment. And if we think about our bodies as like, I kind of think of it as like a computer, right? And we have different programs that are running. Yeah. And those are the systems in our body, like the endocrine system, or, there's
digestive system, immune system,
all kinds of systems. These things, will affect all of those systems.
It's like the input.
And we want it to be cohesive and in harmony and working at its peak, like a Ferrari, not a...
And I feel like, for one thing, just working with my health, is that we underestimate the endocrine system. It's really delicate. It's really delicate, and if you ever have taken a hormone of any sort, they're very tiny pills. A teeny tiny bit creates a really big shift in our system. It's like a very, highly calibrated machine that we live in. And so these chemicals that impact and disrupt that process for us, it's just never really been a part of our health and well-being definition. Yeah. And it really needs to be. So this is a good conversation.
It's really good. And important. And you think about the menopausal symptoms being affected, so that makes sense because it's an
fertility issues.
Yes.
Huge.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things.
So many things.
So sight and sound. Let's start with that.
Okay.
So this is more around, so we've been talking about toxins as a chemical or a harmful substance, but we also need to think about toxic people and toxic relationships. So that's a toughie, but that's kind of where sight and sound come in for me, is like, and not just people, but also programming. Yeah. So watching, the news, for example, not so uplifting, most of the time.
Reading the newspaper.
Programs that are violent, or negative. Relationships or people that are in your space that are negative or energy sucking.
And I don't think people appreciate even like the lyrics of music and how we put lyrics of music and we put that into a rhythmic pattern, and that rhythmic pattern has a frequency, and that comes into our subconscious. So all of these things, sight and sound, is easy to overlook.
Yes.
Yeah. important.
Yeah, or like if you're in a household where there's a lot of fighting, you know, loud yelling and that kind of thing. So we're very sensitive creatures. And so this is just a way to encourage you to protect and have boundaries around that. You know, and not watch, you know, a scary movie or violence like right before you go to bed and things like that. Just
Actually,
little tweaks.
I turned the radio off in the car probably 15 years ago, and it was the smartest thing. Like and I'll play my music, like I'll play mantras or chants or something that lifts me, but it's by my choice, and it's not the conversation and the words and the you know, a lot of the lyrics are
it's
really
subliminal
life-affirming.
messaging, you know, so so we want to
and
protect
ends up
that.
being noise pollution. So even if you think, oh, I don't mind the radio and I'm not really listening to it, it's still like a noise pollution, like a stimulus into your system that you might really appreciate not having. Like if you like turn it off and just let yourself not be, you know, hit with that, it might actually feel like a detox.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Sight and sound.
So moving on to smell.
Okay.
So think about that. You know, you're inhaling toxic substances, hairspray, cleaning products, you know, household chemicals, paints, perfumes. So there's just so much that gets into our airways and into our lungs.
Yeah.
So that's a super, super easy way. The other thing I was thinking about with smell is nail salons. So you notice the technicians all wear masks, but before COVID, we weren't wearing masks. So that's super strong chemicals, and you can smell it, you know, or even pumping your gas, right? I mean, it's everywhere. The other thing with smells, and this is hard for me because I love candles and incense.
Thank you for mentioning that. Those
and
are
then like
really
room
important.
sprays. So I have a room spray here. You know, we need to be really, really careful about those things.
Is that a good one?
I need to scan it and see.
Okay.
We can scan this one. This is a Chopra one. You know, I don't know, but it smells good. You know,
right.
And with candles, they say that you're supposed to be using beeswax or soy.
Right.
And so we just got to read those labels.
Essential oils. So if you're buying your essential oils at Walmart or TJ Maxx, maybe don't. Maybe look for an essential oil that has a truly organic base, that's truly plant-based and isn't supplemented with chemicals or filled with fillers or alcohols or things just to make it cheaper for you to pick up. So, you know, the quality of those that we put through the air that's coming right into our nasal cavities, right into the lungs, right into our system without any filtration.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Diffusers.
All of that.
Yeah, I also read, and I don't know if this is true, but that lavender and tea tree oil, essential oils, can cause hormone disruption.
Interesting.
So again, that's just, you know, something to research and think about a little bit.
And think about it.
Yeah.
And again, the quality of what you're buying makes a big difference.
Yes.
So like I know how many years it was like coupons and just, you know, you do your best to stretch what you have, your resources, and make smart decisions for yourself financially. But sometimes, you know, the investment's well worth it.
Well, I look at it as, even, you know, buying organic or things that are more expensive, to me it's preventative medicine.
Right.
Because it's going to be, it feels more expensive now, but it's an investment in our future health.
Right.
You know, we're not going to be spending money on medications, on surgeries, on chemotherapy. You know what I mean? Like, that's just an investment, I think, in our health.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not easy paying for some of this stuff because it's not cheap.
Well, we don't, you know, not to be political, but we don't have systems that support wellness.
Right.
So you're kind of like on your own. And so then you take self-responsibility and you do it.
Yeah.
But certainly you have friends, and Michelle and I, who who do it too. So call us. We'll talk to you.
Yeah, totally.
it'll be okay.
Moving on to taste. So we talked about food and drink. But when we're thinking about taste, we need to think about the pesticide aspect.
Yes.
Antibiotics, growth hormones, you know, those things that are in our foods.
And then
drinks.
Milks.
I'm going through this now because we have teenage boys, but the artificial sweeteners or the colorants. So like Gatorade, they want Gatorade. And I'm like, this is a treat. You cannot drink Gatorade every day because a lot of it has that red dye. So we just need to be careful about artificial sweeteners as well. I love Crystal Light, but I know it's so hard in the summer when I want some Crystal Light. Sometimes I'll have it, but you know, I'll notice that I usually get a headache the next day.
Yeah.
So, you know, just again, it's like those levers to pull.
For sure, and individual to who you are. Like, I don't have an issue with Crystal Light because I know my headache is instant, and it's so bad that my body says no instantly. So, you know,
I must still be a little dirty.
Well, maybe not. Maybe like my system just can't tolerate as much as you. Like, you're just healthier in other ways, but I'm whatever. But it's like, that's the thing. So if you don't get a headache and you think, oh, this is fine for me because I don't get a headache, like, be proactive. Like, if you don't get a headache yet, then just stop so that you can preserve your health and not.
Yeah. Don't wait for the system.
Don't wait.
I'm not a good example. I'm just letting you know that we're not perfect.
Yeah.
And you know, there are choices.
Right.
And you know,
it's like your liver can do so much.
Yeah.
And then it can't do anymore.
Livers and kidneys, I think, are the detox organs. So we got to take care of them. Okay. So one thing that I wanted to talk about is the Dirty Dozen.
Good.
I'm trying to. Let me see. Let me get to it. Here we go. So 2020 Dirty Dozen, and it doesn't seem to change that much from year to year, but the 2020 Dirty Dozen food list. So what it is, it's a list that I can't remember who puts it out, but every year there's a new list, and it's the top 12 produce items that have the most pesticides.
Right.
So these are the ones that, if you're going to buy organic, these are the ones that you probably should buy organic.
Right.
Or clean really, really well. So you can soak them. I think some recommend using vinegar and water to clean them, but there's different things. So the list is strawberries, spinach, kale, nectarines, apples, grapes, peaches, cherries, pears, tomatoes, celery, and potatoes.
Potatoes.
Yeah, which, I mean, you can peel, some of these you can peel,
right.
So, you know, then it makes it a little bit safer.
Right.
But again, another good piece of information.
And sometimes what they're talking about is what's in the water too. So if it's sprayed and it's a high water content, then the plant is getting the water that's been coming down on the sprayed leaves and everything into the ground and drinking up. So like sometimes like that might be, maybe that's why a potato would be listed. But read it one more, can you read it one more time?
Oh.
Do you mind?
Hold on, let me go back.
Because I want to get them in my head. Strawberries, peaches, apples.
Strawberries, spinach, kale, nectarines, apples, grapes, peaches, cherries, pears, tomatoes, celery, and potatoes.
Thank you.
So for now in the winter, I mean, the only ones that I think we're eating is spinach, potatoes, right? The others aren't really in season.
Kale, apples. I still buy apples in the winter.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the things to
definitely do organic.
Check out.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's worth the investment on those.
Okay.
Or clean the heck out of them. And then drinking water. So this is, you know, we spend a lot of money on bottled water, which can add up, and then also with the environment, you know, the recycling of the bottles themselves. But one thing is you can test the water, or, you know, you can contact your county health department and know the quality of your water.
Oh, okay.
And if they don't have the information, you can contact a state certified lab, and it's called the Safe Drinking Water Hotline. And there's a website and there's a phone number. But don't assume that your tap water is no bueno, because it might be okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And then traveling too.
Okay.
Sometimes, you know, we'll go on vacation for a week and we'll check, like Tahoe, for example, you'll check and the water is great there. So,
cool.
Yeah, so again, it's something to research and not just assume that
Safe
all
water hotline?
Water, safe drinking water hotline.
Okay.
800-426-4787. 9-1.
Excellent. I know one of the nicest investments I've made for the house was just from Lowe's, like an ordinary one sitting on the shelf. It wasn't anything fancy, but it's one of those water dispensers. And the ones with the jug that come up and over were just like, So this one comes, you just slide it across the kitchen floor and slide it under and stick the pump thing in the top, and it slides in, the door shuts, and it's got the cold water dispenser and then the Insta-Hot. So my tea is like Insta-Tea. So Bill gets the jugs from a mustard seed, and we get the reverse osmosis water, but you can order to have clean water delivered, or do the Blue Rhino. No, that's the gas. What, I don't know. There's a water service where you can exchange your bottles.
Callaghan or something?
Yeah. Callaghan. And so that's our water system, and that helps like have that water engross, so I don't feel like I'm using all the plastic bottles. And like I said, I love the Insta-Hot. That's really a lifestyle plus.
You have to send me the link to that.
Yeah, I know. I will. It's very good.
So the last one is touch, and we talked about this, the skin being our biggest organ on our body and getting into our bloodstream.
Right.
So we talked about skincare, deodorant is another one, sunscreen is a big one that you need to do research on, and then one that you and I can relate to is hair processing.
Hello,
so
look at the color.
Anything that touches your scalp is going to get into your bloodstream. So for me, I was chemically straightening my hair, or having it done at a salon. That is really toxic. There is a natural one, and I can't remember the name of it, but who knows how natural it really is. Bleaching, coloring, all of that. So I'm trying to go natural, and it's not easy.
First of all, it's gorgeous, but like you might not know it's gorgeous, but we all know it's gorgeous.
Well,
but when it's different and it's not your necessary look that you're used to seeing yourself with, it can be a tough one to swallow. But if it's important to you, look for the natural ones and see if that's a nice compromise for you. And then fortunate, or hopefully you don't have health issues that are so concerned that you must. Yeah. But if you must, I know we talk a lot of curly girl because we have the curly girl thing, but under the Diva company, she has a book called Celebrating Silver. Is that what it was?
So I can't remember.
Something like that.
What exactly it is. But
about growing out your curly hair for natural grays. Yeah. So if you're of that time period, age window, and want some inspiration, it's a really affirming book. And
it's really good.
It does, for me, it feels really good not to even spend the time and the money on the color, which had lost its fun for me. That was no longer bringing me joy in my life. Yeah. So, all kinds of detox in that package. But, the full look remains to be seen. And so I'm reserving
transition. I know. I'm not saying I'll never do it again, but there are, to your point, there are hair dyes that, that are natural.
Right.
And, if you ask the stylist not to put it on your scalp.
Exactly.
Then, to start a little bit, further from the root.
Boil it away from the root and kind of keep it off your skin.
Yeah. There's ways to do it. Yeah. But wear your mask because you could be smelling things.
Yeah.
So, so that, that's a tough one for me.
It's a rabbit hole, and you can go down and make yourself totally crazy, and that would so not be the point, because the craziness is another toxicity.
Yes.
So just pick a couple things that speak to you. I know I'm excited to it's such a long journey. Then you have a conversation or you hear something and you pick another thing and you just keep building your repertoire and steering your ship.
Yep.
But what are we going to do with these products? Are we ready to do this, or do you have something more to say?
I want to talk about who's looking out for our safety really quick.
Yeah.
Because really it feels like nobody is. Right. And again, we're empowered to be our own health advocates. So in the United States, there has not been a law passed to protect consumers in personal care products for, drumroll please, 80 years.
Oh.
80 years.
No, 80 years, and all the chemicals that we produce and all the new processes that have been introduced on the market, and there's no new regulation for any of that.
No new in the personal care area.
Personal care, like beauty.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the European Union has banned 1,400 chemicals, and the U.S. has banned 30. So, and I know it's this way with food too, because when the boys were little, you know, macaroni and cheese, well, they still like macaroni and cheese, but Annie's macaroni and cheese, the recipe is different in Europe than it is here because of the chemicals in it.
Wow.
So, you know, again, we need to read labels and really study up. Somebody who's super impressive to me is the founder and CEO of Beauty Counter. Her name's Greg Renfrew, I think is how you pronounce it, Renfrew. And she is actually up on the Hill lobbying and testifying in front of Congress about how we need to be doing more to protect consumers. And her company has created something called the Never List, and that is 1,800 ingredients that should never be used and they don't use in their products.
Okay.
So I have used Beauty Counter products and they're great. So I highly recommend you checking out that as an option.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
And I mean, people get really, they really push that not tested on animals, and that's great. That's really great.
It is great.
But this is a whole nother conversation that isn't pushed at all and really should be.
Yes.
This is very, very important to our health.
Yes.
And I mean, God bless the animals, but this is really important to our health.
Yeah. We need to protect ourselves and the animals.
Yes.
And so she's really a trailblazer in this area, and so they're doing some really, really good things.
Okay, so Beauty Counter.
Beauty Counter.
Awesome.
So, and then also we talked about being empowered, and there are different groups, and we talked about apps. So we can scan a couple products and see. But the ones that I'm really liking, and I also follow them on social media, so they'll post, you know, new products that they've found, that they've discovered, and so it's a good way to shop, you know, and be exposed to that. But EWG is one of them. Think Dirty is another one, and I just ran across, I had the app, it's called Detox Me, which is amazing, and it's, but I didn't know who was responsible for creating this app, and it's the Silent Spring Institute, which, so I researched them, and they're actually doing research for breast cancer and the causes around breast cancer.
Okay.
So that's a really, really cool one as well.
So you listed 3, EWC?
EWG.
EWG.
Yeah. And Think Dirty.
Think Dirty and
Detox Me.
Detox Me.
Yeah. So, definitely download those, and they all have, you know, their pros and cons, but they're really evolving over the years. And what's cool about it is you can actually scan products. So, so I'm going to pull one up right now. Let's see. So this is the EWG Healthy Living one.
Okay.
And then at the bottom, there's a little scan button, and the other ones have scan buttons too. So
they all do.
You just need to have your camera ready. I think 2 of them do, but
so
you know, and then you just scan the barcode.
Awesome.
What do you want me to?
Scan this. I brought this
Does it have a
beauty
barcode?
balm. It has a barcode.
Okay.
I brought this. This is from Banyan Botanicals, so it's under the Ayurvedic friendly umbrella. Ayurvedic herbs. It's called Beauty Balm, and I love this product. So she's going to scan it, and I want to hear gold standard, A+ good results.
And what they okay, so this one they couldn't find the product. So this happens, and what you can do is actually enter. Let's scan again one more time, just to be sure. Okay. No product found, but what they do is they're building a database, and so you can add the product to the database, and then they'll research it.
Oh, okay.
So
this is probably an alternative product already. So they probably are.
Let's try this one.
Okay, Myers might be there because that's sold at Target and stuff. That might.
Well,
be.
yesterday I scanned a Carmex, you know, that lip stuff.
Oh yeah.
And what the app will do is it will rate it from like green to red or something like that, or 0 to 10.
Okay.
And Carmex came right in the middle, but it was interesting because the Carmex like chapstick kind was different than the ointment kind. So, and it was kind of halfway. It wasn't like super bad, but okay, this one's coming up. So this one is...
This is the multi-surface cleaner from Myers.
Oh, so this one, it shows you asthma, it's good, environment, skin, okay, developmental, okay. And then it gives you all the ingredients in it. So with cleaning products, they're not required to include all of the ingredients on the label. So this will actually show it. So that one's pretty good.
Okay, that doesn't have a barcode.
So moderate concern on the Myers for the environment.
And so Myers we think is super duper clean, but it's moderate because the environment is maybe not the best.
Right.
Okay.
So this one, I think, this is one of my favorite brands ever.
Okay.
Weleda, since 1921. I think it's European.
What is that product?
This one is they have all kinds,
okay.
like skincare. They have a cream that I use just on my body that is to die for. This one is Pampering Body and Beauty Oil. So let's scan this one.
Okay.
And I get it on Amazon, but they have their own website. Okay, coming up. Oh, interesting. So this one is a 3, so it's limited. Allergy is super high because there's a fragrance in it.
This has a wild rose oil. It's a wild rose oil blend. It helps you look and feel radiant. It's a pampering body and beauty oil. The company is Weleda, W-E-L-E-D-A.
Cancer is low, developmental is low.
It's a bunch of essential oils that are all organic.
And then it rates the ingredients, so you can see red to green. So the fragrance is the highest, like danger, and then musk rose oil, seed oil, and then the rose flower oil. Those are moderate, and then the other oils, the jojoba and the almond oil, are clean.
Okay.
So
it's probably because some people might be sensitive to rose oil, and so that's going to come up as a higher trigger.
But the fact that a lot of companies are using natural or certain words for marketing, you can't necessarily trust that. So again, do your research, and we always have our phones, so you could do it at the store.
Yeah, that's outstanding.
But I did bring this almond oil. Because one thing that I've learned in weeding out not all of them, I still have more to weed out, is that oil can be used for so much.
Yeah.
For moisturizing, for cleaning, for that Castile oil is one thing that they recommend for cleaning.
And does that come up nice on the app? Have you tried that?
I haven't tried it.
Well, not now, but the Castile.
Oh,
people know the Castile.
I almost brought that. Let me see if I can search it. There's probably a way to search it.
I want to show you this this Branch Basics, because this is one of those online products that the bottle that comes is like $50, but it makes, I think the $50 bottle lasts me 3 to 4 months. So it's a concentrate that you mix with water in different levels. For laundry soap, this is my bathroom spray. I make the kitchen spray for the kitchen counters. And so I'm using it in all those ways. So although the $50, and you don't have to buy a certain amount, it's not like one of those scheme things, but it is a bigger like concentrate kind of purchase. And it has sugars and oils in it, and that's it.
Oh. Sugars
and oils, no chemicals, nothing.
That's
and it's
awesome.
The cleanest thing, because I went crazy when I saw the mold in my dryer. And to be honest, I've always used like Myers and products like these. And then before COVID, we decided to get someone to clean the house. That's not in here. We decided to get someone to clean the house every other week, and I noticed that when she was there, she was using her own products. She was using, the traditional products that people use. But after she would clean the house, I would feel really tired and have muscle aches, and I'd be on the couch for a couple of days, and I'd be like numb in the brain, like I couldn't think right, but I really couldn't think right. So I was like, why is this happening? And then by the 3rd time she cleaned, I walked in, and that smell hit me in a way that said, this is why. Like I was, she cleaned, it smells like cleaning product, and I didn't really think about it. But then once I started asking myself why, what is this trigger, then I walked in and intuitively, like, it hit me. And so I started doing some research on things, and this company seemed like probably, I don't know, this seemed like the best I could find in my you know, looking around, that it's different sugars, and then it's all plant and mineral based essential oils in the concentrate, and then you mix it with your own pure water. So I mix it with my water, that I know the quality of that water, because that's the other thing in our beauty products. Like if you look at your beauty products, the number one ingredient often is water, and we don't know like how clean that water is, what kind of water they're using. So I've have felt really good about that.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that. I hadn't heard of this brand before, and it didn't come up on the app. But it's new and we could add it on there. But I mean, it seems like just from the ingredients that it's going to be safer than the alternative.
Okay, and so it works. Yes, it works really well with our laundry. They have like an Oxy Boost product that I use to keep the whites a little bit brighter. Because it's not a harsh chemical cleaner.
Yes.
So like if you have kids that are really grounding mud in at the ball games and stuff, you know, you might have to use your spot cleaner on that and something different. But for us at my house, it's a good laundry soap. And it works well in the bathrooms, and it works well in the kitchen. And then maybe once a month, I pull out the Clorox sink stuff and spray down the sink with something much stronger and rinse it down, and that's it. And I try to limit it, because you know that like nothing bleaches like bleach. You know, so then, you know, I just do it.
Just do it to a minimum.
I just do it to that minimum. But I've been really happy with that product. Oh, and they also have these wool balls that I bought for the dryer. So I don't buy dryer sheets anymore. And I've got these 3 wool balls. I think the 3 of them were $20. So for $20,
do they have something on the ball?
No, it's just spun wool in this ball, and I put the 3 balls in there, and that's the dryer sheet. And I don't buy dryer sheets anymore.
Oh, that's good. I've been buying clean. They're probably not that clean, but because Harrison has eczema, so you know, just trying to limit that. But maybe I'll try the wool balls. But yeah, with cleaning, you know, they just if you wanted to go all natural most of the time, just, you know, using baking powder and water, vinegar and water.
Vinegar water on our floors, like all hardwood floors, vinegar and water. What else would you use anyway?
Well, think about, I mean, I remember my mom cleaning with like furniture polish, or, you know, floors.
Murphy's oil soap. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all of that. So, you know, there's a lot of things that we could do differently in cleaning, and just using, one thing that I read that I didn't know is vinegar. Make sure that you open the windows, because vinegar has some, like the key ingredient in vinegar, it triggers asthma. So, you know, just make sure that you're ventilated when you're,
so that you're not breathing doing that in a concentrated way.
But yeah, there's options. We just need to know about it and try it. So I want to talk about how to detox.
Okay.
So just to like wrap things up.
So
have a list.
Yes.
So practicing self-care, meaning we talked about it, boundaries with negative, toxic people, you know, and if you need, like, it's not easy to rid yourself of relationships that might be not so healthy. So, you know, if you need professional support or a therapist, then definitely get that for yourself.
You can tell it was like a part of my fantasy system. These people are toxic, they need to go. You know, and that's not necessarily, I mean, I really feel like the toxic people are some way my teachers. And if I can learn to have more clarity for myself, better boundaries for myself, creative solutions for honoring them for being who they are without letting them kind of like dirty my water, that's
a good way to look at it, especially if they're family and you can't really totally get rid of them. So wearing protection. So masks, we're quite used to that now. Goggles, like if you want to you need to protect your eyes. Gloves, if you're outside doing something, you know, wearing, you know, certain heavier materials or something like that. So super easy,
great idea.
We've been talking about replacing, and I use the word replacing purposefully, because we all spend a lot of money on stuff, and just because is dirty, doesn't mean we need to toss it. So, just weed things out if you need to. So just, replace things as you go through them. Adjusting your lifestyle. So we talked about that as well. So our bodies are wise beyond belief. We are miracles, and we need to trust that they know what to do, but they need our help in doing that. And so we need to give our livers and kidneys, time to detox things. And so what that means is for them to focus on their job, we need to take care of ourselves in sleeping.
Sleeping is huge.
Eating, right, drinking a lot of clean water, eating wholesome foods, all of the basics of our lifestyle, really, really protecting that.
Yoga, meditation, like some sort of self-compassion moment in every day. Like, I was... Michelle was trying my beauty balm, and I said,
it's lovely.
I do like this, and then I like massage these marma points, and I say, I love you, you are beautiful, I love you, you are beautiful. So like even kind words are huge, and your body hears, like every cell in the body hears that. And just take a deep breath and say something kind to yourself. You don't have to put it on your calendar. It doesn't take a lot of time. You don't have to buy anything extra. It's just like that attitude is a hugely beneficial detox.
And then it makes our systems happy and healthy, and we can thrive. So just back to that whole lifestyle thing. Infrared sauna.
Love it. Love mine.
That's super trendy. And you have one now.
I have one, big believer, every day.
So tell us a little bit about it. Why'd you get it? And
I got it because I have some health issues that have that mean I have a heavy toxin load, and detox is like agenda number one. So I got it because when COVID hit, I could no longer go to the spas and to use one. And considering the fact that my daughter uses it, my husband uses it, financially it ended up being a very, very good decision. It was a big bite, and it was like one of the apprehensive pieces was just like, are we going to be able to put it together? And it's going to run, and where are we going to put it? And so we don't really, we don't have like a home spa, so we're not like that kind of a situation. So it's in the basement with the laundry, but I have it set up to be lovely so that I have this like spa feeling about it, in a sense that I'm doing something really beautiful and kind for myself. But I researched a couple different kinds, and the kind I ended up buying is by the jacuzzi people. Excuse me. So it's really a medicinal grade health product. And I started out with 10 minutes a day because you have to really titrate and monitor the rate at which you detox. So it's another good reason to go step by step and product by product as you revamp your lifestyle. Is because as your body is releasing toxins, somehow it has to process that and flush that out, and it's only going to be able to do that little by little, or else you're going to have symptoms.
Right.
So I started out slow, and now I'm 30 minutes, and every single day I notice when I miss it after a couple days. So it's great for your skin, it's great for your muscles, it's great for, like I said, detoxing the organs and clearing out any of heavy metals, bacterias, viruses, the waste of bacteria and virus, which ends up being a load to our organs. So it's been a great investment. I love my infrared. I love my infrared.
And it says that the infrared, it's different than a regular sauna because it penetrates the skin, and then you sweat like 4 times more than you would if you were just exercising, for example, or in a regular sauna. So there's definitely some healing benefits.
Yes, and the sweat is one bit of detox, but really the only sweat that is the detox is that first break of the moisture through your skin. After that, you're sweating out your essential minerals and you're dehydrating, right? So the quantity of sweat isn't that big of a deal. Like you want to be there until you bust a sweat and there's a little, but being in there until you're dripping wet isn't giving you any more benefits, which is why the infrared part is so important, because that's heating deeper into your body so that you're getting that penetrating radiance under your skin into the tissues where you want the detox to happen.
Okay.
So when you're you know, in hot yoga and you're sweating like crazy, the first little bit of sweat is a helpful detox. After that, you're just losing minerals and you're dehydrating, and you're not getting a same health benefit in your hot yoga class or in your regular sauna that you are in the infrared, because of the way that light penetrates into your body. And they have all kinds of science on the website. So when you shop for one, you'll learn so much about how they work. And then you'll forget, and you'll just get the big idea. So I'm giving you the big idea today. You have to get for the details somewhere else.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. And then in Ayurveda, they recommend a seasonal cleanse, like during the transition from one season to another. So that's 3 or 4 times a year. And, you know, there's so many advertisements or celebrities that are, you know, pushing these cleanses, and I just want to like warn you and also recommend that you really research what you're thinking about investing in, because a lot of times it's a tea or something like that that is just going to cause diarrhea, and it's a short-term thing, and it could dehydrate you. So with Ayurveda, everything is just gentle, and you don't have to buy anything. And basically what it does is these seasonal cleanses is your going back to those standard lifestyle habits of sleeping more, maybe detoxing from social media for 3 to 7 days, eating things that are very nourishing but don't require a lot of digestion. So like broths or khichdi is a food that is rice and mung beans, and so it's super easy to digest, and it has all of the nutrients that you need.
And Michelle, like, you're so right. And one thing that I've become more aware of is how taxing a detox can be, and how taxing a cleanse can be. And so, like I mentioned about the infrared, like, you don't want more toxins entering your system than your system can process. You don't want your cleanse to stress your kidneys, your liver, like your system, to the degree where you're now, like, your immune system gets depleted, and now you're sick after you're, like, can someone, like, meet with you, and can you help people?
Yes, and
would you help me?
Yes, we can do this together. I would love to help folks do this, and we'll talk about it. We've been doing it, I think, we will have a workshop or something seasonally where we talk about it. Yeah. But it is, again, it's super empowering, and to me a relief that you don't have to buy all of these products. Like, we have everything in us. Yeah. We just need to give our bodies a chance to heal naturally and to balance out. And so with a seasonal cleanse, that's really what it is. It's just freeing up your kidney and liver and all of your other systems in your body to do what they naturally do without, and another thing as part of a seasonal detox or cleanse is, limiting caffeine, alcohol, sugar, gluten, all of those things that most of us are doing on the daily, or at least try to. So it's, again, I think it's really encouraging where it's like, oh yeah, it's just a reminder of, like, we got this.
And I'm taking care of me. Yeah. I can count on me.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then you feel good.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, there's a lot of different products that I could recommend, but, I think it's really fun to research these things on your own. Like, take inventory of what you have at home, think about things that you might want to replace, and there's just a lot of information out there. One thing that's super cool at Sephora is they now have a green stamp that's clean, and you can filter on there. I have the app, but you can filter on the app.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. I'm VIP Rouge at Sephora. But you can filter by clean products.
Oh,
okay. So there's like clean, I have it here, clean skincare, Sephora clean body oils. So there's different...
That's on Sephora's app?
It's on Sephora's app. Well, it's probably on the website too. So you can just you can filter by clean. But if you're just looking at, say, lipsticks, for example, if you see that green little, I think it's like a leaf or something, you will, you'll know, well, I don't want to take time on that. You'll know that it's clean.
Gotcha.
However, there's a brand that I really like that's called Ilia and cosmetics, and I thought it was super clean, and I scanned something and it's kind of medium clean.
Gotcha.
So again, you just have to do your research.
Right.
And
listen, step by step. So if what you're using is kind of red, then pick something that's in the middle.
Even
and
a little
that's
bit
going to make a health difference for you.
Toxic load is going to help.
It's going to help, and it's going to help if you like do little pieces around the whole category. Yeah. Can I just mention one bizarre, weird thing that like came into my head? Like the kitchen, like with the Teflon stuff and plastics in the microwave. Like that's another really good way to kind of get toxins out of family lifestyle. Yes. So those are, I don't want to pull back into a whole nother conversation about that, but
there's
I feel like there's so many things, and it just was like, say the Teflon, because like, and even like I go to see my son, and he and his friends, all grad students, and I walk into their kitchen, and I'm like, no, I insist, and I throw that away, and then we go to Target and we get him stainless steel to kind of like, it's too important for everyone's health in the house to use those scratched up Teflon things. Yep. It's just not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
that's
so many things. So
that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's that's what I have around toxins today. And again, just be curious and know that you're in your own good hands, and
have fun
and thrive.
Yeah. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Namaste, Michelle.
Love hanging out with you.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, guys.